Hello, dear co-creative Destiny Weavers. Hier ist Erika Mese von my website erikamazing.me. And as you have been following my group regularly, you might have noticed that on Friday, which means the free day of Freya, the goddess Freya, who is also known to be a destiny goddess in Norse mythology, I feel very close to, since my book, The Wyrding Way, is about the three Norns and about destiny weaving. And this Facebook group is an invitation to use the space to share our wisdom. And I like to read wise stories which bring me the biggest joy on a Friday, which is also the natural development step of blooming or spreading your wings, based on the 6 natural cycles and the 6 chapters from my book, The Wyrding Way. It's following natural cycles of grounding, planting seeds, Mother Earth, then setting roots, then leaving the comfort zone, is leaving the soul, and then on the surface facing and overcoming adversity, which means doing shadow work and unlearning our programming and to replace it with its beliefs that serve us and not limit us, and then continuing to bloom and spreading our wings like a flower or a tree do, and then spreading the seeds. And today I like to bloom by sharing this story, which I've been done previously, translating spontaneously some stories of fairy tales from those German books from Lucy Körner Verlag. This time it's from this book, The Colors of Reality. And this is a story which is called just Fairy Tale by Heinz Körner. This is one of my favorite wise stories, which always makes me think a lot about, like this group, about the natural cyclical personal growth process that we all go through. And we either being given space to develop freely and grow into our full potential, or we're being cut from the outside world and pressed into expectation of others. So I'm curious what you might think, and invite you anytime to comment. Maybe you know some other stories about it, your experiences. They're all welcome. So the story is about a tree. And there was once a couple who have planted a tree. And they planted the tree in their garden. And it didn't take long until the tree started to grow, and they were seeing like the branches going different directions. And the man was saying, "Look, dear wife, our beautiful tree, how nice it is. Our tree is the nicest of it all." And the woman said, "Yeah, you're so right, dear husband. Our tree is really the most beautiful from all the gardens around." And as the time continued, the tree happened to grow a bit on the side. And the man was saying, "Oh no, our tree is not allowed to grow on the side." It has to go really straight, like all the other trees there in the other gardens. Don't you agree, dear wife? And the wife said, yes, of course, you're right. We have to put it straight again. And the man like put it on the side like with wood, so the tree was meant to grow straight. But the tree was thinking to itself, here I am, I'm just growing and I'm so full of life and joy. Why am I meant to grow just only straight? I'm going to follow my natural flow, and instead I'm going to grow now really big and straight in the air, now that I no longer can grow on the side. And so it happened that they started to grow really, really fast and really tall. And the man and the woman observed and was saying like, what is going on again? Now our tree is much higher than all the other trees in the other gardens. What should the other people think? This should not be allowed. Don't you agree, woman? Yes, you're always right, dear husband. So we have to cut the tree so it's the same height like the other trees. And so it happened. And the tree was really, really sad and was crying to itself and was thinking, what's that? It gives me so much joy to grow as I meant to be, just growing. And now I've been put straight and cut short. It makes me really, really sad. But with the last vitality it still had in itself, he decided to go broad, to grow broadly in all different directions. And so it happened that he became thicker and thicker and broader. And a man and a woman got more and more angry, especially the man. You're saying like, I'm so disappointed by this tree. This tree at the beginning was the most beautiful tree. And look what happens. This tree, it grows on the side, it goes all the way up, it goes in all different directions. We really to make sure it stays as we want it. Don't you agree, dear wife? Yes, you're right, husband. And so it happened that the tree was also cut thin from the sides. And he became really, really sad. He internalized his sadness and just was crying day in and then and day out. Of course, the man and the woman, they didn't hear the tree crying because they didn't speak the language of nature. And so the tree just gave in, and we don't know how many years passed by. He really just grew in the way that like the man and the woman liked to see it growing, but he was sad and no vitality was hardly left, and he didn't provide any nice green leaves and was just crying to himself internally. Until one day, a little girl with her father was walking by, and she could hear the tree crying. And she asked the tree to herself, why are you crying? And it was telepathically. And the tree answered her, because I was never allowed to grow the way I like it. I was put straight when I was happened to grow on the side. I was cut short when I was growing in my height. And I was even like cut thin when I happened to grow in all different directions, and that makes me very, very sad. And the girl listened to it, and she had to think about it for a long time. And when she was meant to go sleeping, she was not able to sleep because she was thinking all the time about this sad tree. And her father observed that and started to talk with the little girl. And the girl explained to him, "You know what, Dad? I can speak with trees. And when we were passing by this tree the other day, the tree told me that he's very, very sad because he was never allowed and appreciated for the way he was meant to grow. And that makes me very, very sad." And the dad did listen to the girl and just let her cry and be sad. And he caressed her and said, "Yeah, I understand that you're very sad. And at the same time, who nowadays can grow as they like? I was never allowed to grow as I wanted to. Are we not all given our direction from the outside, from others? Is that not natural?" And even though the girl listened to her father, it still made her very sad. And even though she felt eventually asleep, it continued to bother her. And all of a sudden, she had an idea, because she felt so good after her dad just listened to her and caressed her. She decided the next day to go to the tree and do the same. And this is what happened. And she did go to the tree and stroke the tree and talk to the tree and said that she does understand it and the tree, and that she believes in the same idea that every living being should be allowed to grow in its most natural way and what brings them the biggest joy. And so it happened that she went to the tree every single day and was talking to the tree and stroking the tree until the tree really started to grow again, and it became alive again. And this man and woman who planted the tree, who after all those years became elderly and didn't really bother about the tree at all anymore, they started to observe that this girl was coming to speak to the tree and to sit by the tree and to stroke the tree. And they got curious and came outside from the house and asked the girl what the girl was doing there. And the girl explained that what she experienced so joyful, that her dad was always listening to her and caressing her, and that she can actually speak with the tree, and that the tree was so sad and all life just disappeared from the tree, since the man and the woman, let's just cut it in the way they wanted. And at the beginning, the man and woman didn't really understand and thought the girl must be crazy. But still, day after day, the girl returned, and they started to see that the tree still really started to bloom, even after all those years. And similarly, they started to think what brings them joy, and that it's not everything over in their lives, even though they become elderly. And they started to also listen to each other and caress each other and stroke each other, and thinking about what brings them natural joy. And they started to become happy and alive again, despite their age. And yeah, so the moral of this story is we all have got deeply ingrained drive within us, which brings us growth and joy. And we just have to give it space and listen to what it is, what brings us joy. And I think this is one of the most important questions in life. What gives us the biggest joy? And to let it emerge freely and naturally. And I think that makes us very, very happy. So I hope you enjoyed this story. If you've got any comments, ideas, you can post them underneath this Facebook video or on YouTube, where I will upload it as well. You're more than happy to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got quite a few wise stories there already. And yeah, I'm wishing you a happy, restful day, a joyful day of Friday, and hope to see you soon. Many blessings in Russian. Благодарю.